We got a new video for you here on Fantasy Smack Talk. We've never done this one before, but we thought of it. It's kind of a fun idea. I'm sure you've heard the term before, post-hype sleeper. And for the terms of this video, here's what we have for a post-hype sleeper. It's just a guy that at some point had hype going into a season, but at this point they are going way further than they were down the draft boards in terms of when that hype happened, and haven't necessarily ever really lived up to the hype, but you know their name. But these are guys that we think could finally have that big year that we knew they potentially could.
I love me post-hype sleepers. I towards the end of the draft, I like to fill my board up with post-hype. But Patreon, go ahead. We got a link in the description. Sign up for our Patreon. You've been asking for it, and that's because we've been saying, well, quite frankly, we didn't do Smack Talk last year because we needed something like that. So hopefully support us. Hit up our Patreon.
Links in the description. Check it out. Our first guy, and we don't really necessarily have these in any order. This is just our list. We're going to talk about their ADPs and whatnot. Darius Guice is the first guy out there with the Redskins, currently going around the 74th pick. The injuries, they've been so disappointing for this guy. But when you really look at that team, they got McKissick now, they got Peyton Barber, they got Adrian Peterson. You're not worried about any of those guys from a pure talent level being better than Guice. Guice is the guy if he's healthy. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry last year on that team when he was healthy, which is impressive in my book. And if he doesn't have those injury concerns, I think he's probably another 10 spots up higher just on the running back rankings. You know, right now he's right around the 32nd or so running back. I think he would be around 22, 23 if he didn't have the injury concerns. So when he's going in the draft, your starters are pretty much set. So you're just grabbing bench depth, high upside. And for where he's going, I like his potential as a guy that can help you.
All right, next on our list is Jameson Crowder, going around pick 133. So the Jets' offense was abysmal last year, so that didn't help. Darnold got the kissing disease. It was like a whole thing. But Crowder, a lot of hype whenever he went there, and you know what? He kind of lived up to it. He had 122 targets. He had almost 80 catches for 833 yards, 6 touchdowns. So while that was good, not great, but it's still pretty good. And is there upside there if he gets another 122 targets, especially with Robbie Anderson gone? Does he get to $130? Could he have 90, 950, and 7 touchdowns? Absolutely, and that's amazing value at pick 133 right now.
Baker Mayfield is next. I mean, this guy was being ranked as a top 5 QB in most rankings heading into last year, and it wasn't good. That Browns offense did not live up to what it was on paper. Now he's being ranked around the 12th quarterback, but there's still some upside there. There's still something to be excited about. I mean, you can argue that the Browns have the best wide receiver tandem and the best running back tandem out of anyone in the league. You gotta think they're gonna be able to put points on the board. And if you wait on QB and you're going for the 2 QB strategy in terms of just not taking one of the top guys, maybe you get Brady and Mayfield late. Like,
love it.
I'm okay with that. The upside for Mayfield is still there.
All right, next on the list is Duke Johnson. This is a guy always been near and dear to my heart. I think Duke's good. He just doesn't get the love. I mean, he was taken in the 3rd round in 2015. You know, throughout the years, 2017, he had 74 catches on 93 targets. That's why I love him. He catches the ball great out of the backfield. Should he get a ton of volume, he's an amazing fantasy player for that reason. And the reason I think he's interesting as a post-hype sleeper, David Johnson's there. And I know they're going to be like, give the ball to David Johnson because we made the stupidest trade ever and traded DeAndre Hopkins for him, so don't make us look like an idiot. But David Johnson has been going down. I think Duke Johnson with Watson, I just think with that offense, it's interesting. So, especially like hurry up, they're going to have Dookie in. So, yes, I still call him Dookie.
It's a weird thing.
It is weird. I don't know why I do that. It's not even his nickname. It's only a Brent Namco thing. But either way, I think there's a little upside here at pick 147 for Mr. Duke Johnson.
Darrell Henderson is next. I mean, if you played last year, you knew he had some hype going into the year.
Oh, ton of hype.
You know, with Gurley's knee issues and Henderson being an amazing player in college, but he battled injuries. And now they drafted Cam Akers. They still got Malcolm Brown out there, and everyone's just ready to give Akers as the guy to own. But I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on that. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. But don't forget that Darrell Henderson in his junior year, in 233 touches, he had over 2,200 total yards and 25 total touchdowns. And he did show some flashes last year, but again, he just couldn't stay healthy. I'm not writing off Henderson. Around the 100th pick, I love that, just adding some upside to your bench.
Did he go like in the third, fourth round, like towards the end there? Like he was getting ridiculously
He was
high.
getting really
so stupid.
He was definitely going a lot higher last year than he will this year. But don't just completely write off what that upside was just because they have a new guy. That's everyone likes a new shiny rookie, but it's not always the case.
Always. All right, Teddy Bridgewater. That's who I'm talking about. Going at pick 182. He's the 25th quarterback off the board. And really, he proved it. He had that gruesome injury. I get it. But it was gruesome. But last year he proved he went 5-0. He had like a 68% completion, over almost 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. So I didn't set the word on fire. He was an amazing game manager, right? He would do good ratios for you. He would hit the checkdowns. He could throw it deep every now and then. And where did he go? The perfect situation in Carolina. I think him and McCaffrey is going to be very interesting. And the reason he's on this list, if you're in 2 quarterback leagues, he's going around like Sam Darnold, Carr, Haskins, Foles. I am way more excited about him than any of those names I just mentioned. So this is why a post-type sleeper, it's why he's on this list, is in 2 quarterback league, he's the guy that I'm excited about getting late compared to these other, like Haskins. I'm sorry, he's not going to be good. I don't think he's going to be good.
We'll see.
I don't think he's going to be good. He throws a good deep ball. He's on the Redskins. There's nobody there.
He's got a strong arm. Matt Breida is the next guy I want to talk about. Going around the 100th pick, 37th running back, currently being ranked. He's had some hype heading into seasons with the 49ers. New home with the Dolphins. Sorry for your bad luck. But here's the thing with Breida. They got Jordan Howard out there who's not really all that good at catching the ball out of the backfield. I definitely see Breida as more of the guy that's going to be catching more passes. And what are the Dolphins going to be doing? Probably playing from behind a decent amount. And Breida's average 5 yards per carry over his career. I think he might actually end up being the running back to own out there in Miami. It's going to be a timeshare, but again, when you're at that point in the draft, there's some upside there.
He feels more exciting. Howard, to me, just feels so boring.
Well, in that offense in particular, just because.
But Howard's always been boring on top of it.
Yeah, but he's had some good years.
You've always kind of liked Howard.
He's had some good years.
Everybody knows Howard's boring. Everybody out there, you know Howard's boring.
So let us know what you think about this video. It's kind of a fun list to put together. We got a bunch more.
You know what you do? You take this list, you put it in your queue for the end of the draft when you're in panic mode. Who do I take? Here you go.
We're still going to do our sleeper, undervalued, and deep sleeper list, but this was just kind of a
Everybody loves
a sleeper.
Coming soon.
Post hype.